For those who missed it, I told you last episode that this one is going to be long. Just look at it. Wowee. We're going all the way to mid-2010 in this episode, so we have some quests to do. But first, recap. Way back in 2005, we discovered a previously secluded clan of goblins called the Dorgeshuun. After stopping the Duke of Lumbridge advisor Sigmund's plot to start a war between the Dorgeshuun and Lumbridge, he swore revenge. A year later, we made friends with the Dorgeshuun's first diplomat, Zanik. She helped us infiltrate the Ham headquarters and uncover a plot to drown all the Dorgeshuun by flooding their city of Dorgeshuun with a device meant to drill beneath the River Lum. Before that, however, Zanik was struck down. Juna used the Tears of Guthix to revive her, telling her that she's been chosen by the gods. We learned what that meant a year later when we discovered an ancient goblin mace, and the goblins of the Goblin Village hailed Zanik as their chosen commander, meant to unite and lead all goblins to victory over the whole world. Then, Sigmund kidnapped her, tied her to the train tracks, and we beat him up again. Finally, later that same year, Grubfoot, the assistant to both the generals of the Goblin Village, told Zanik and us about a dream that he had that Zanik would lead the goblins back to Ubiisk, their homeworld. After infiltrating the Goblin Holy Grounds and speaking with their undead high priests, we learned that Ubiisk is another plane of existence. We used a modified fairy ring to travel there and found it's a barren wasteland. We found some sort of coffin with a Bandos insignia on it. After it opened, Zanik was pulled inside and it was locked tight. We haven't seen her since. Now it's 2 years later, quest number 150, The Chosen Commander. We find Captain Undak in Dorgeshuun and ask if he needs some help. He asks if we know how they raise their children. He says they're raised in a nursery. Everyone starts life equally. He says the children of the nursery are falling ill and he thinks it may be Ham behind it. Since we've helped fight the Ham before, he asks for our help. We talk with Torzak at the nursery with the 4 ill children. We ask if they've eaten anything unusual. She says that they were treated to a meal from the market, but all the children ate there, not just the sick ones. We go to question the children, but Andal mentions Zanik before we can. She says she heard her voice, but couldn't quite make out what she was saying. We ask her what she ate. She had green gloop soup and frog spawn gumbo. Jobo had frog spawn gumbo and crispy frog's legs. Delgon had the frog burger and the green gloop soup. Gretty had the frog burger and frog spawn gumbo. Now for the healthy kids. Fenna had crispy frog's legs, so that can't be a bad food. Caldi had the frog burger. This means that the green gloop soup is poison, as is the frog spawn gumbo. Poor Andal must have gotten a double dose. Captain Undak mentions that recently humans have sold spices to the market to help provide exotic flavors. We asked the green gloop soup seller who he brought ingredients from. He says he brought it from Walton and Xenia. Marcog, the gumbo seller, got hers from Yuri and Walton. We find Walton. He looks pretty shady. He flashbangs us, which blinds the captain. We attack him, but he prays against us. Zanik? Undak stops us before we kill him. He arrests him and takes him away.
I'm back. Did you miss me?
I was so worried about you.
Aw, that's sweet of you. Wait, how long was I gone for?
You've been gone for months.
Months? But I must have been unconscious for all that time. I'd better tell you what happened. After I was pulled into that box on Ubiisk, I lost consciousness. It only seemed like a few minutes, but I must have lost months. I woke up in this huge room. From the smell of the air, I was still in Ubiisk. It was cold and very still.
Oh hey, we're controlling Zanik while she's telling us what happened.
From on top of the statue, I could see into the ball. It was clearly magical, some sort of scrying bowl.
Zanik sees her house in the scrying bowl. She's able to look around Dorgeshuun, and this is where she spoke to Andal, or at least tried to.
After that, I made my way to the throne. There was a pendant on it. The pendant was powerful. I could feel it even before I touched it. It was the same feeling I had when I drank the Tears of Guthix for the first time, and when you brought me back to life, and when we opened the box. It was that same feeling, but even more intense. I put it on. The huge statue with the scrying bowl bowed to me. I looked inside and could see you fighting with the Ham member. I knew I had to get back as quickly as I could. All the statues made way for me to enter this portal. And the rest you know.
We go to the council and discuss what needs to be done with the Ham agent. They say that the Mistlin Treaty dictates that since a human assisted in the arrest, he must be turned over to Mistlin. Zanik demands his execution. A little out of character for her, but she's killed plenty of Ham members before. We agree that he should be handed over, him. Zanik storms away, saying he deserves to die. As Undak goes to escort him away, Zanik snipes him, killing him instantly. We chase her down to the agility course area, and down to the southern part of the cave. We sit next to her.
What happened?
You killed the Ham agent.
I know that. I don't know what came over me. I was so angry. I mean, he was trying to kill the children. All I could think of was that he was trying to kill the children, and he deserved to die. And the council wouldn't do it.
No, the council did the right thing.
I should have listened to you in the meeting. RS3 Released. I wish I hadn't done it.
You've killed Ham agents before.
That was on the battlefield. It was them or me. This time, he had already been captured. He was helpless. It's totally different. I wish I hadn't done it.
What do you wish had happened?
I wish none of this had happened. I wish there weren't any people who wanted to kill us. I wish we lived in a world where everyone could be happy and not fight one another.
Someday, we'll build that world.
Yeah, maybe. It's just hard to stay positive sometimes. All right, RS3 Released. I'm ready. Let's go back to the council.
The council decides that Zanik is to be banished until the council says otherwise. I could come with you.
No, RS3 Released. I think I need to be on my own for a while. Get things sorted out in my head. And think about my destiny. I'm sure I'll see you again. Someday.
Where will you go?
I'm not sure. I might go live with the surface goblins, or I might just wander around looking for adventures.
Goodbye, Zanik. We talk with Undak. He says he's actually got another task for us. He says we need to figure out if Walton was working alone or if it was part of a larger plot. He asks us to once again infiltrate Ham and learn what they're planning. He gives us a fresh set of Ham robes. As is tradition, we break in and talk to Johannes Olbrecht, asking him what his plans are for the cave goblins. He says he's doing nothing but pursuing political options with the Duke, but Sigmund is planning attacks. He says they're not working together anymore. Most of Ham believes that they need the support of the Duke, but Sigmund thinks that they need to take action themselves. The more radical members of Ham establish their own base, the windmill north of Ardoyan. We need to tell Milton the Miller the password, Arrav. We ask why Arrav. He says it's because Arrav protected Varrock from goblins. We let him know that that was done by making peace with them, but he won't hear of it. We find the mill and get access to the base below. Oh my. We confront Sigmund, and he kicks us out before we can even say a word. But we just, go back in. So instead, we talk with the other members. Christopher tells us the glyphs are teleblockers, preventing anyone from teleporting in or out. They have a prisoner, a goblin that they're trying to get information from. We talk with the guard outside the prison and ask to speak with him. He says we need a letter of recommendation from Sigmund with the appropriate day of the week. Today's Goals Day. According to the scroll, Goals Day is Sam's Day. We steal from Sam and get his letter. Sigmund is still using his advisor to the Duke title. The guard lets us in. We open the door. It's Grubfoot. They've been torturing him, forcing him to tell them things that aren't true about goblin attacks. He was captured near Lumbridge in broad daylight, but nobody helped him. We find a hole in the wall of the kitchen and unlock both meeting room doors. We lead Grubfoot out of the base, one room at a time, distracting the guards while we do. Almost out, the alarm rings and the guard sees us. Grubfoot stuns him with some sort of magic spell. He says only priests are able to use Bandos magic, so he hides it. We get back out to the main part of the base and there's goblins attacking. Chosen commander? Zanik? She's leading the goblins against Ham. She has some sort of ethereal armor on.
Goblins, attack! Kill all humans! RS3 Released? Quick, RS3 Released! Sigmund's getting away! Stop him!
We fight Sigmund almost exactly like the first time. He protects against us, and then as soon as Zanik comes up the stairs and hits him with his crossbow, he protects against her instead. He goes to use his Ring of Life like always, but Zanik cuts off his hand.
Not this time, Sigmund. No Ring of Life. No last-minute escape. No more treating this like it's a game!
Sigmund begs for his life.
Begging didn't get me anywhere when I was in your power. Remember? I'm going to enjoy returning the favor.
Zanik! Don't kill him!
Shut up, RS3 Released. You're next.
She delivers the final blow. And then she goes after us. We have to fight back. What else can we do?
You're stronger than I thought, human.
I won't kill you, Zanik.
No one can kill me. I am the chosen commander of the big high war god. His power protects me.
She's clearly under the control of Bandos, so we try to break it using the ancient mace, but nothing happens. Zanik, what's happened to you?
This is what my whole life has led up to. I am the chosen commander of Bandos.
No matter what we do, this ethereal armor protects her and she just keeps regenerating.
I have seen the light of the big high war god. His power flows through me.
You used to hate the gods.
But now I see my destiny. I am the chosen commander.
Does our friendship mean nothing to you?
Our friendship? You are an enemy of the big high war god.
But am I your enemy?
You were always a good friend, RS3 Released. I don't want to hurt you, but I must. The big high war god commands it.
We're getting through. We just gotta keep trying.
Why won't you just die, human?
Zanik, you're being controlled. Fight it!
The big high war god commands. RS3 Released, I'm trying to fight, but it's too strong. I don't want to hurt you. I'm sorry.
She is mine, human. She can never break free of my power. I branded my symbol into her forehead. I raised her from the dead. I guided her to Ubius and gave her my pendant of leadership. She belongs to me.
Zanik, it's the pendant. Take it off.
I can't, RS3 Released. It's too strong.
You've got to do it, otherwise it will win.
I can't let that happen. You're right, RS3 Released. I've got to.
She tosses it away, and the High Priest, the sole survivor of the fight down below, dons the pendant. Bandos speaks through him and says she's no longer needed now that the pendant is on RuneScape. He says their tribe has been hidden from him for too long, and he's going to show them how he deals with those who defy him. He teleports away, and the cave starts to collapse.
The cave's collapsing! Quickly, RS3 Released, take my hand!
We share a moving over distance sphere, but end up somewhere else besides Dorgeshuun. She thinks it's because we both used it at once.
Earthquake!
The earthquake causes a cave-in that separates us from Zanik. Zanik, can you hear me?
RS3 Released, you're alright!
Hang on, I'll try to reach you. We quickly mine through and... Uh-oh.
I'm trapped. I can't see any way across.
Try grappling across with your crossbow.
I can't see any place where the gravel would catch.
I can see somewhere it could catch.
Okay, I'll try, but you'll have to direct me.
Right a bit. Right a bit. You overshot. Go left.
I'm sorry, RS3 Released.
It's alright, Zanik. You can do it.
Alright, RS3 Released. I'll try.
Just a bit further left.
I can't do it, RS3 Released. You should leave me here.
I'm not leaving you, Zanik.
All right, one more try.
She finally gets the grapple to catch and climbs her way up.
Thanks, RS3 Released. I'd nearly given up, but I'm feeling better now. Now let's go! We need to get to Dorgeshuun to deal with the High Priest.
We're in the Tears of Guthix cavern. Juna stops us and tells Zanik she needs to reclaim her destiny as chosen commander. Juna warns her that she'll not be revived again, should she die. We head to the city and find Captain Undak standing near some sort of obelisk. Bandos, controlling the High Priest, slammed this obelisk here and teleported away after killing 3 guards and injuring 5 more. The scribe has been translating the runes on it. We go to the council chamber, and the scribe tells us it says, "To the goblins of the Dorgeshuun tribe, I, Bandos, the big high war god, your god, give you this final warning.
For too long have you defied me. You disobeyed my battle orders and built a city where you did not worship me. You have broken every one of my commandments and felt no remorse. You have even dared to choose your own commanders, and when I sent my chosen commander, you did not recognize her and banished her. Now even she has fallen from my path. Your rebellion has provoked my righteous anger. I should smash every Dorgeshuun goblin beneath my holy mace. I should make your caves collapse and wipe all memory of you from the face of the world. But I am a merciful God. If you repent of your rebellion, I will forgive you. Then you may rejoin my army and fight and die for my glory, as is your purpose."
The council blames Zanik for bringing Bandos upon them. Urtag brings them to reason and discusses their options, mostly to run or surrender.
We can fight. We can fight! I've had that thing inside my head. It's not merciful. It doesn't see us as people. It only wants to dominate, to control. Our ancestors defied it. They escaped its clutches. They broke all of its hateful commandments. They built a new city, a new world where we could be free. We haven't gotten rid of conflict or suffering entirely. Maybe we could have, given more time and effort, though we have done pretty well. Our whole history, Simpson, every one of us who has lived and loved and built and dreamed, has been one glorious act of defiance. If we surrender, that rebellion will be undone. Bandos won't just make us suffer. He won't just reduce us to barbarism. He'll turn us into an instrument of evil. But if we fight it now, then even if we die, that will be the crowning of our defiance. I thought that I couldn't fight, but RS3 Released helped me. He told me that if I didn't resist, Bandos would win. And that's even more true now. He won't compromise or show mercy. If we don't fight, he wins. You say that we can't win, that we can't fight. Well, perhaps you're half right. Perhaps we can't win, but we can fight.
Urtag agrees. He tells Captain Undak and Zanik to prepare the defenses.
So, RS3 Released? I suppose this is it. This is the end. I'm glad you're here. I should go and get ready now. The scribe seemed very worried. I mean, even more than you expect. Maybe you should go back to the council chamber and see if you can help him.
We asked the scribe if he needs help. He says he's making a time capsule so that even if they're gone, there's going to be a record of them. We talk with Tegdak, the archaeologist, and he gives us a box of Dorgeshuun artifacts. We give them to the scribe. He asks us to have Mistag bury it somewhere safe. Mistag takes it and asks us to see if Oldak has any ideas for survival. We find Grubfoot and Oldak arguing about Grubfoot's magic. Oldak says it's just regular magic and has nothing to do with Bandos. Oldak believes we could use Grubfoot's magic to prevent Bandos' ability to regenerate his host. He asks us for some parts from the power station. We grab them and meet Oldak and Zanik and Grubfoot near Bandos' portal. Oldak modifies Zanik's crossbow and says the special attack will prevent Bandos' regeneration. That was a good speech.
Thank you. I meant it. And I think every cave goblin, deep down, thinks the same thing. It will be better to die than to submit to such an evil power. We can run and hide, or we can fight, but even if there's no hope, we can't surrender. Better to die.
What are you doing?
I just want to take a moment to get ready. I guess I'm saying goodbye to the city.
Saying goodbye to the city?
I was born here. I grew up here, but I've never really... It's always seemed too small for me. You know, just a few years ago, I thought the city was the whole world. That there was just solid rock outside, going on forever. As soon as I found out that the services existed, I wanted to see it. And thanks to you, I did see it. The time when I first saw the sky, it was so beautiful. It made the city seem smaller than ever. But now... It's like what you said about a perfect world. Your people and mine could have built something wonderful together. But that's just a hopeless dream now.
You'll see the city again.
No, RS3 Released. We can't beat this enemy. We can't run, and we can't surrender. The only thing we can do is go down fighting. And that's what I intend to do. You might get away. Bandos won't try to chase you. But this is the end for Dorgeshuun. And for me.
Oldek has modified your crossbow.
Oldek told me about his idea. I'm not that hopeful, though.
It's untested, but it's worth a shot.
I suppose you're right. Oldek's gadgets normally work, but this isn't a normal situation. Perhaps you can go check up on Murnik in the nursery. I'm worried about how the children are taking all this.
We talked to Murnik. She asked us to talk with the Dwarven ambassador and see if the children can take refuge in Keldagrim. We do, but he says he won't risk Keldagrim. We tell her what he said. She's understandably pretty upset. Oh, everything's gonna be okay. She tells us that Zanik is ready.
All right, RS3 Released. Let's go.
So, the little goblin hero comes to deliver her tribe's surrender. Perhaps you are worthy to be my chosen commander after all.
No surrender.
I am your god. I created you. You will worship me. You cannot defeat me. I am Bandos, big, high, war god.
You're not so tough. Call yourself a god.
I am immortal. You may defeat this form, but my pendant will restore it. No mere human or goblin can defeat me.
We'll see about that. Zanik, now!
My crossbow! RS3 Released! Quick, pick up the pieces!
We help Zanik take down the animated statue and she goes back to fighting the Avatar. We go to pick up her crossbow and this statue fights us. We can't pick up any other pieces while we're being attacked. We take it down. And we're attacked again. We destroy that statue. We put the crossbow back together and...
See how easily I destroy my chosen commander? Give up now, and I will make your death as swift.
You monster! You killed Zanik!
I am her god! Her life was mine to do with as I pleased. She had no right to live when I decreed she should die.
Enough talk. We weaken the Avatar enough and then use the crossbow. It worked! Oh no. Zanik! I thought you were dead!
So did I. I really thought I'd die here, but it looks like I was wrong about that. Is it over, RS Released? Did we beat it?
We won. Oldek's crossbow worked.
You know, I didn't think it would. It looks like Bandos wasn't as powerful as we thought. Hand me the pendant. It's time to end this.
The mark on your forehead is gone.
It is? That's good. That means I'm not under his power anymore. I'm not under anyone's power. I have no destiny. I'm free.
Here it is.
There. It's over. Let's go, RS3 Released.
Sometime later, we're talking with Oldek and Zanik. She gives us her modified bone crossbow. Captain Undak says the council wants to give a speech. They erected a statue of us. Quest complete. Quest number 151. Glorious Memories. Manny the Reveler offers to buy us a drink, loudly, and quietly asks us for some help. Oh, it's the chieftain's birthday and he's getting a feast together. He needs us to invite some people, the burgher of Nightazna and King Vargas. We start with Vargas, and he says he'd rather be transformed into something more ridiculous than a Yeti. He says Manus won't come either. Brunt apparently did something bad. We decide to ask him directly what he did. He starts his story, but wait, why is he a Yeti? Oh. Manus, someone named Niall Swiftfling, and Asleeve Hamelsdaughter all joined together with them as an adventuring party. Wait, her name sounds familiar. Oh, she's the one who was killed by the Kindle on the Mountain Daughter quest. They went off on their adventure in search of a tablet for Pier the Seer. Something went wrong and both Niall and Vargas were cursed, and apparently, Niall was left behind. Brunt tunnel visions on the tablet and seems not to care about Vargas' curse and the loss of Niall. We ask why the tablet is so important. Apparently they had already found 4, and this was their final tablet. Brunt thinks one of them stole the last tablet. Also, the other 4 went missing. Oddly enough, he only cares about the last one. We tell him we'll try to find it. He gives us a clue on where to find the cave they explored back then, but says he only has part of the information and we'll need Vargas and Manus to finish it for us. Vargas tells us his part of the story. There was a creature in an ice cave. He's of course the true hero of this story, who gets himself cursed to fell the awful beast. He says he suffered the curse for years before finally turning into his current form. He adds to part of the directions. We head to Nightazna and have Manus tell us about it. He says what actually happened is Niall was cursed, and a small amount of the curse hit Vargas. Niall was immediately transformed, killed the beast they were fighting, and turned on the rest of them. They fled and left the cursed Yeti in the cave. He completes the directions for us. We follow the directions and find some tracks along the frozen coast. We see they lead to a cave and head down. There's Yetis fighting no-eels? We find Niall and kill him. He drops an herb bag, an unfinished astral rune, some Yeti hair, and his axe. First, we stop and spoke with Freygard, Niall's wife and Manus' sister. She says before she'll listen to us, she needs our help. The king is imposing an immigration tax on her because she's trying to move to Nightazna to be closer to her brother. We hassle him, and he lets her go without being taxed. She says she's also troubled about Niall being eternally tormented as a Yeti. We let her know we put him to rest. And she thanks us. We tell Manus, and he agrees to go to Brunt's feast. We go to the mountain camp and call to Asleeve in the lake. No answer. And just as we're about to give up, she takes form in the lake. She says instead of moving on, she's taking up the role as spirit of the lake. We tell her we're wanting to cure Vargas. She tells us we'll need her herb pouch. We show her that we have it. She says inside is a diamond root, a now extinct plant. We need to grind it, enchant it like a diamond necklace, and then mix it with Irrit and spring water. Then finally, add Yeti hair. We make the potion and deliver it to Vargas. The cure works immediately. We give him the herb pouch so he can remember her. He says he'll go to the feast, and then return to his adventures. Now what's up with this astral rune? We give it to Brunt, and he realizes that there's a good chance that someone else was there, as he never knew how they ended up at the fishing guild after everything happened. He remembers a mage joined them before they left, probably from Lunar Isle. We join the feast. Skull! Quest complete. We're not quite done yet. We take the astral rune to Baba Yaga on Lunar Isle. She says it's her lucky rune. She tells us what really happened. She grabbed the tablet while they were fighting off Niall, and then teleported them all to the fishing guild. Brunt demanded the tablet, but Baba Yaga told him he's not ready for it, and she'll keep it. Before she left, she cured Vargas, or at least tried to, and then wiped their memories of her, and the rest we know. She says she has the tablet and she'll give it to us. She says it's useless since the seer lost the other 4. We also ask why she wiped their memories, but she won't say. We read the tablet. It says, "And his name will be Larder." That's us. Well, that's ominous. I tried to give it to Brunt, but there's no option to. Weird because of how insistent he was on getting it. Same with Pier. Oh well. Quest number 152, The Tale of the Muspah. On the mountain near Releka, we find Ariulf standing outside of a cave. He says he definitely hasn't found something awesome in this cave. We threaten to go in, and he gives up on the act and tells us he'll show us what's in there if we promise to keep it a secret. We promise, and we follow him inside. He shows us he found something frozen in the middle of this cave pond. He says he was able to see spikes, and maybe it's some old armor. He thinks it will help him with his trials. He knows our name! He says he needs our help to melt the ice. His idea is to set a raft on fire and drift it to the ice. He shows us how and gives us some tools. Basically, we just need to block the outlets of the pool to control the current, then float rafts to melt the ice. We can see into it now. It looks like some sort of monster. Urielf notices that the fire didn't melt the ice it's kept in, even a little bit. He says we should ask the natural historian about it. He just so happens to be nearby looking for yetis. We find him, and he asks us to describe the creature to him. We do. He says he's heard of such a creature, but it's not real. He does say that there's a statue depicting it in the Kharidian desert somewhere, but doesn't know exactly where. He gives us a Lumbridge teleport tablet. What a nice guy. Well, here we go searching. After seconds of searching, we find a large sand mound. We dig it up and find the statue. We're greeted by Ali the Wise, who says he's been searching for this as well. He's a desert explorer in search of knowledge. We tell him we found a creature that looks just like this. He says it's a muspah, a predator designed by a cruel and archaic god. We ask why we haven't heard of it before. He says it's because it doesn't exist. He says one race that lives on RuneScape came from a distant and cruel world, and with them came their strange ways, rituals, and folktales. One of those folktales is the muspah, created by this god who combined their most fearsome creatures to create the monster we found, but in reality, it's quite frail and just looks terrifying. We ask how we saw it then. He says that the race that we spoke of is comprised of powerful mages, and it's likely their magic is to blame. We ask if he knows how to melt the ice. He says he knows a way, but he'll only tell us if we promise to tell him what we learn after melting it. We agree. He says we just need to use an enchant sapphire spell 4 times to melt it. He gives us a Camelot teletab. Wow. We find some sapphires in the cave, break them off, then cut them, and catch Urielf up on what we learned. He built a bridge to help us get to the muspah. We bore holes and insert the sapphires into the ice, then enchant them one by one. It's alive! Urielf runs away terrified. It talks? It seems confused. It doesn't know where or even what it is. We answer it and it remembers. A Mahjarrat? He says his name is Jolin. He does the typical Mahjarrat superiority complex shtick, then realizes he's apparently very weak. We offer to help and his tone changes. We ask what happened. He says he must have dreamt of the muspah, which he says is from the Mahjarrat folklore. His energy was sapped when he did so, and that's why he's so weak now. We ask why he was frozen in the first place. He says that he was hibernating, something to do with their ritual of rejuvenation. We ask for more details. He says it's a ritual that energizes the Mahjarrat. The ritual requires them to sacrifice one of their own. He says we're beneath their ritual site here, and he was planning to avoid conflict by hiding here, as he's too weak to battle his kin. He asks for us to help find a better place to hibernate. We ask Urielf for pointers for traveling around the coast. He tells us he'll show us a log we can use to make a canoe. We find him and we make the canoe. We ride it around, and find Jolin has already arrived. But he's now totally out of energy. He says he's currently directly underneath the ritual stone. We lead him to a place where he won't be disturbed. We go to repeat the sapphire spell, but realize we haven't helped Urielf with his trials at all. Jolin doesn't care, but we say that Urielf will probably come looking for him to get a trophy. Jolin curses and creates a trinket, the tail of the muspah, using the last of his energy. We enchant the sapphires, and he's frozen once again. We return to Urielf and give him the trophy. Quest complete. He says this should do great. We meet Ali the Wise in his home in Narda, and we keep our end of the bargain. He believes the Mahjarrat may be a threat to humanity, and we need to gather as much information on them as possible. He seems trustworthy, so we tell him about the Mahjarrat, including Anakra, Octhonikos, Zimmergal, Lucian, the Staff of Armadil, the Stone of Jas, General Khazard, Azanandra, and Haziel. Quest number 153. Missing my mummy. We find Leela in Draenor village, and she's asking for our help because of our knowledge of desert religions and burial rites. She wants us to go to an ancient pyramid and speak to the one inside. She says it's near User and predates it even. Also, it's not really a pyramid, it's a mastaba. The inhabitant is a mummy, an ancient pharaoh queen. We make our way to the queen's mastaba. We find an Acme swag bag by a skeleton, Acme being Elite Morasane's branding. We go to search the skeleton, and it animates. We cut it down and find it was holding a canoptic jar. Uh-oh. We head deeper into the mastaba and see a large area with a massive stone boat, and the tiles on the ground stain blue to mimic water. We find a huge stone sliding door and open them, and they close behind us. More skeletons in here. We attack them for a mummy hand and a scroll of the dead. At the end of this room there is a stone golem. It says we're not permitted to pass no matter what we tell it, and it won't let us down the stairs. We destroy the golem and try to head down, but a voice in our head says, "Do not think that solely physical barriers exist. You may not pass without purpose." We read the scroll of the dead we got. It tells us the mummification process is to split the body and soul at death. Organs are placed into 4 canoptic jars, the body decorated with jewelry, a second body is made as a replacement for the dead one so that the person can use it in their afterlife, ushabti, or replicas of the deceased, are made of willow so that they can perform laborious tasks, clay pots filled with wheat, spiced wines, the personality and name of the mummy must be written, or else the spirit will not remember them, and finally, the shadow is also separated from the corpse, whatever that means. Mummies are said to have wisdom, but only if their tomb is not desecrated. We tell Leela what we found and ask her for tips on how to restore the tomb, but she doesn't know more than what's on the text. We spice some wine and fill a pot with wheat, grab a flyer for Ali Morrison's shop, and get some squirt juice. We take the flyer to Reldo, and he says Ali recently sold him some ancient papyrus, which should have the information of the Pharaoh Queen's deeds, but he'll need an ancient text to copy from. The flyer is recycled papyrus, which has indentations of old writings on them, so he accepts the trade. Next we go to Ali Morrison and tell him we know he's involved with the bandits in the mastaba. He says he has a copy of the Queen's name, which he's willing to trade for our squirt juice. We trade it and read the papyrus, but it's clearly filled with errors. It's just a copy, and a poorly made one at that. We charm him with the Ring of Karos, which somehow works, and he gives us the original. Much better. We return to the mastaba and are now able to descend the stairs. There's something wrong with this quest, and it puts us past the puzzle that happens here, so we're going to need to solve this puzzle backwards. We find another canoptic jar and take it. We find 2 more jars and a handless mummy. We're able to reattach his hand and then take advantage of the stairs, going up, back down, and skipping the puzzle. I mean, we already did it once, right? We return the jars back to the shelf, repair all the furniture and statues in the room, then head east and find a statue of Tumekin and a shadow of Tumekin in a room. We cut down the shadow and then light the torches with fire runes. This animates the shadow each time we light the torch, which we cut down again. This restores her tomb enough that she's able to take form. We copy her likeness into a willow statue, and then give her the information papyrus we have for her. Finally, we perfectly carved the willow statue, and now the tomb is completely restored. We talk with her. Apparently, Leela already spoke with her since we restored the tomb, so our quest is complete. We do ask the queen about her history. She says she ruled over the entire Caridian. In her time, it was lush forests and green lands. They were beset by Zeros and his followers. Iclarin summoned the stern judges, faceless ones, wielding great power and reborn through death. We ask her more about that part. She says that one of the judges dies so the others can live, and they take any form they choose. She says they were not born in RuneScape. Iclarin himself summoned them from their home plane. This must be how the Mahjarrat came to the world. We also tell her about Amaskut being evil and her attack on Scabarus. She's worried by this and says she may try something to restore Amaskut, and she'll let us know in the future. She has way more information on the desert lore and the desert quests, but I think that's all the important parts for now. We return to Leela, and she says she spoke with the queen through a vision. Quest complete. Quest number 154. Hunt for Red Raktuber. We talk with Larry. He says the penguins have started their invasion. We ask why he's in a straitjacket. Apparently the other zookeepers forced him into it. And apparently his therapist told him to go fishing to calm his nerves, but while he was fishing, he saw a giant penguin come out of the water. He told the guard, but when they got there, no giant penguin, and then the zookeepers did what they did. He says he was on the coast of Witch Haven. He says he felt safe amongst the slug-infested locals. We scratch his nose before we leave. We go to Witch Haven and, well, that can certainly be the mark of a giant penguin. We tell Larry we don't think it can be a real penguin. He says it was moving just like our clockwork suit we made. He thinks it's a ping-mersible, a submarine. The chief zookeeper checks out the track and sees that Larry isn't entirely crazy and lets him out of his jacket. Larry tells us to meet him at the iceberg. We do, and he tells us we either need to disable or destroy the ping-mersible. We turn into a penguin, head inside the headquarters, and find a penguin being interrogated. This KGP agent is teaching us about it? This is our first practical exam and interrogation. Apparently the captive was on the Ping Mercible, but something happened. It went rogue, and he was dumped to the shore. The captain left a message. The time to strike is now. A higher power commands it. They're trying to figure out how to board and take back control. The captive says the captain will bring unity to all creatures of the sea by destroying the humans. Oh, wait, is that a slug on its head? Oh no. No way these are slug-controlled penguins. Anyway, we shake his confidence by saying the captain dumped him off because he's disposable. The captain betrayed the penguins, and he sent him here to take the fall as a traitor. He eventually breaks and tells us we have to call the captain with the horn of the sea and the dance of the sea. The dance is a flap, twirl, and wave. The interrogator mentions the captain had a shell with him too. We take all these fishy things and find our old buds, Ping and Pong, asking them for help in getting into the war room again. They say we just need to find out what makes the guard sleepy and they'll sing him a lullaby. We con the guard's sleep routine out of him and tell the bards, and they sing him the song. He passes out and we make our way into the war room. It's a bunch of dwarves. We go to speak to one of them, but they won't speak with the penguin. We exit the suit, and the dwarf says they were kidnapped to work for the penguins. They made the Ping Mercible. He says if we build them each a suit that they can escape in, they'll teach us how to disable the Ping Mercible. We head outside and tell Larry about it. He says he can't cast a spell like he does for us, but he says they won't need it, they just need a bigger suit. We head back in and give them the materials and instructions on how to make their own suits. In return, they hand us a toolbox. They tell us how to disable the submarine from the inside and do a mock trial to demonstrate how it's done, because we're going to be on our own for the real thing. Wrench the wire box, cut the wires, splice new ones, tape them up, pressure the pipe, change course, and pull the lever. We get caught and thrown out, and then tell Larry. He says now we need to figure out how the penguins are located in the Ping Mercible. He tells us to talk to Noodle. We find him, and he says that in exchange for the location, we'll owe the Fettuccine Mafia a favor, and his brother Alfredo can call on us whenever he wants to. Are you willing to be in debt to the Mafia? Yes. He gives us a fake ID and says we need to get past the guards in the cube room to find the location. We sneak past all the guards and find a telegram with the location. Near Yanil. We sneak back out and tell Larry. He tells us to meet him in Yanil. We do. We go into the penguin suit and call the Ping Mercible. But we realize we need to wear the fish hat the captain was wearing. Oh, it was a monkfish, not a sea slug. That actually might be weirder. We summon the Ping Mercible. Oh my. We try to mess with the engine, but we're told we need to speak to the captain first. Oh geez, the captain does have a slug on his head. He sees right through our disguise and knows we're here to stop him. He talks crazy, then arrests us and throws us in the brig, and confiscates our toolbox. We find some more sea stuff here on this hat rack and use a swordfish to pick the lock. We use the fishy tools to disable the Ping Mercible. We land on a beach somewhere and get out of the suit. Then the king of all penguins, Pescaling Pax, is here, and he has Larry captive. What's with that dwarf-sized penguin there? Pax tells us that he knew we were hunting down the Ping Mercible and knew we would get it back into his control after the slug took over. The dwarf! They weren't kidnapped, they were on the penguin's side. We weren't disabling the submarine at all. We were just choosing a destination for Pax. No way. The dwarves are from the Red Axe and are trying to help the penguins kill all humans. Great. We're stuck here on a remote deserted island and are gonna starve to death. Huh? What the heck? He says his name is Chuck, and he's with the PBJ, a counter-organization trying to stop the penguins from achieving world domination, which Larry is a part of. We ride Chuck off the island and return to Ardorian Zoo. Quest complete. 63 construction. Arrav, legendary hero of the Fourth Age known for defending Avaraka, now Varrock, many times, was rumored to be enslaved in death by Zimmergul, necromancer and ancient enemy of Varrock. We confirmed this in 2008 when we found Zimmergul's outpost as he was preparing to attack Varrock. We were able to thwart his plans, but Arrav is still suffering. We need to try something, but the Mahjarrat seems limitless in strength, even if some of them seem to be weakened. Quest number 155, The Curse of Arrav. We return to Ali the Wise, and he says he's been researching since we spoke, and he has a mission for us to help his research on the Mahjarrat. One of his contacts found an entrance to the caverns near Jolin in the ritual site, and it's likely they were dug deliberately. It's at the top of Trollwaste Mountain. We head out and arrive at the mountaintop and look for their cave. We find it and head inside. There's plenty of cave-ins that we need to clear. We make our way through and find a stone tablet. It looks to be the thoughts of a Mahjarrat named Lamistard, one who was too weak to be near the ritual site to be fully rejuvenated. We clear more rubble and find another tablet. Looks like Lamistard was the one who dug these tunnels, trying to reach a point beneath the ritual site just like Jolin did. I wonder how it turned out for them. Looks like they were living here. Yep, this tablet confirms it. Oh, looks like they broke into a structure's cellar after digging the wrong way. And it looks like this is that cellar. In a bookcase we find a note. Notes on my fellow Mahjarrat. Zimmergal's notes. He talks about all the Mahjarrat we've already met and opinions of them, with one named Bilrach we've yet to hear of. We head up the stairs. Arrav? This confirms it. This is Zimmergal's base. We try to talk to him, but Zimmergal makes him attack us. He tells us to look behind the flame tapestry in the room to the south, then Zimmergal teleports him away. We do as he says and find a base key and base plans. They're too complex for us to read, but maybe Ali can help. We return to Narda and tell Ali what we found. He reads the plans and deciphers them for us. There's something called Arav's Heart that we may want to try and get, but it's surrounded by security and human detection spells. There's a sewer system that's electrified. There's also zombies patrolling. The vault that has the heart in it is 5-inch thick runite reinforced steel with an access code mechanism and fire ray beams behind it. Finally, the heart is surrounded by a spell that will kill Arrav if it's touched, so we need to find a way to protect it. We head back into Senntlisten's mastaba and ask her for ideas. She says she's heard of the methods that Zimmergal is using to control Arrav, very dark magic. She gives us a canoptic jar of sacred oil. She says we need to add preservatives, namely dwell berries and a ring of life. We take the jar and then add the berries and the ring. We return to Ali, and he did some planning for us. We'll need insulated boots for the electrified water, a way of remotely viewing areas, and also a grapple and crossbow. We're ready to go. So we ask Hartwin to guide us back to Zimmergal's base in the wilderness. He does, and we head down to the base. Looks like we don't need the mist anymore. We find a door we never went in last time we were here, and use the key we found to open it. We find the detection system that Ali warned us about, and also the kitchen with the entrance to the sewers. We're protected from the electricity and find what's powering it, a captive killer watt. Oh, this is Odenstein's work. Makes sense. We find the next place to go in, but want to see what's on the other side first. We summon a macaw and send it to the pipe. After the coast is clear, we head through and enter another room. We find a collection of decoder strips and the remainder of Zimmergal's notes on Mahjarrat. Besides the ones we know of, there's Karshai, who's missing, Lamistard, who indeed ended up getting sacrificed as he feared. Zimmergal kept him a prisoner after he was captured digging through his cellar. Mizarch, who was sacrificed in the ritual before that one. Ralvash, who was sacrificed in the ritual after Lamistard. Slisky, who has strong shape-shifting capabilities and shadow powers. And Wahisital, who is rumored to be a Zerosian sympathizer. We pick a lock in here and find a card with 4 letters in it. FGAC. We get caught a little bit and have to run through again. Once back, we put the decoders in the right spot. 1 on F, 2 on G, 3 on A, and 4 on C. Makes the number 1342. We enter the room, grapple over the lasers, and very carefully put the heart in the jar. We deliver the jar to Ali. He says he'll try to find a way to safely return it to Arrav's control. Quest complete. Also, we tell him about the notes and tablets we found. He adds them to the information pool. Quest number 156. Fur and Seek. The odd old man at the limestone quarry has another task for us. He says the museum recently requested his help in expanding their natural history section with stuffed animals, so he needs our help in gathering various furs from around the world. The sack starts talking over him, so he excuses himself and berates it some, reminding it that he can just put it back wherever he found it, and that he's not under its control. Apparently this fur thing is entirely for him and not for the sack this time. Apparently the furs he needs are actually all around the Fremennik province instead of all around the world. Just like last time, we need to prepare the animal parts before we can give them to him. We need to scrub them with salt and then dry them on the fire pit nearby. Bear, unicorn, black unicorn, rock crab, hobgoblin, Fenris wolf, fox, cave crawler, and cockatrice. We salt all 9 hides. For some reason nothing interesting happens each time, but it still works. Then we dry them all on the fire, except for the rock crab, it's plenty dry already. Interestingly, it's all just one click for the whole inventory. Convenient. We head back to the We hand everything over. Quest complete. He also says his wish list has grown, so now we have even more bones to eventually find. Maybe one of these half episodes soon. Recap. In 2005, we were involved in an unfortunate accident involving the statue of the King of Dwarves from many centuries ago. We helped rebuild it in the image of one of the leaders of the consortium, to the loud frustration of the Red Axe, who believed it should have been their leader's likeness on the statue. Then a few months later, we learned from the commander of the Dwarven Black Guard, Veldeban, that the Red Axe up and left Keldagrim altogether. We investigated for him and followed a lead from the cousin of the drunken dwarf random event, who was a drunk dwarf himself. He told us to look at a specific mine shaft that was closed off. We solved some minecart puzzles and learned that the Red Axe has conscripted an ogre shaman and some gnomes and is turning people into kebabs and beer. I could go for some beer and a kebab. Who's thirsty? Quest number 157. Forgiveness of a Chaos Dwarf. Feeling hungry for a kebab and thirsty for beer, we talk with Veldeman again and ask him to join us. He turns us down because he's trying to investigate something, but the Supreme Commander won't let him get any help to do so. If it will help us get our drink faster, we said we'll help. He says people have been going missing from the east side of Keldagrim. Too many people. We go to ask who, but the guard yells that we're under attack. Chaos Dwarves were spotted by the Watchtower. We meet with Colonel Grinda. She says she took care of most of them, but there's one up at the top of the Watchtower holding some sort of new weapon that took out 6 Black Guardsmen. We climb to the top and take out the Chaos Dwarf. It's holding a slip of paper with a number on it, and a note that says, "I forgive you." Veldeman identifies it as a Grand Exchange order slip, which the Consortium uses to export and import goods. He asks us to take the order slip to the Grand Exchange and find out what it's for. He'll report back to the Supreme Commander. We go to the GE, but the darn clerk won't let us talk until the tutor tells us how to use it. We spacebar through it, and then the clerk gives us the order. A package of various tools. We return to Keldagrim and look for Veldeman, but he's not in his office. Lieutenant Bray says he's off duty, in the pub. We find him getting drunk by himself. Supreme Commander BC took him off the case, not allowing him to investigate into the missing people, saying that the investigation wasn't a priority. Veldeman says it's because the missing people are all poor, so the leaders don't care about them. Lieutenant Bray was assigned to lead the investigation instead, but Veldeman says she won't get anywhere because she's not going to push for answers or resources and will just do as she's told. We ask if he thinks the Red Axe is involved, but that's such a horrible thought for him, he asks for another drink. We asked the barmaid for his drink. She mentioned he's been in here a lot lately, and used to come with his girlfriend, but he's been alone lately instead. We mention it to Veldeman. He says he hasn't dated since the Battle of Barondir. He says he's never even been here with anybody. We ask about the battle. He says it was one against trolls. The commander at the time was Grimson, who was now the right-hand man of the Red Axe. Hundreds of dwarves died. Grimson led a charge which won the battle, but he didn't stop attacking even after the trolls had all fled or died, and started attacking his own men, which led to him being court-martialed and discharged. We walk him back to HQ, and he demands to see BC. Bray tries to stop him, but true to character, lets him by without any resistance. Literally, he walks right through her. Veldeman accuses BC of being a corporate something, and not caring about the people. He says that we care. RS3 Released will solve it all, and then goes to bed. We take all the junk out of the box and go to where the Chaos Dwarves invaded. We see clearly that these footprints match the boot that was in the box. We follow the footprints and see a lot of them around this fire pit. We put out the fire with the bowl, then insert this rod into the square socket at the bottom of the pit. We turn it and a tunnel is revealed. We enter a wide open cavern and go through another tunnel on the other side. We find a minecart with a puzzle. We kinda remember something like this, but this one's different. Only has one socket. We put a yellow key in and hop in. We don't make it too far. We need someone controlling it while we ride. We return to Veldeman and see he's awake. We tell him about the secret tunnel and take him to go see. He says it feels familiar to him. He says he's never been here before though, but it feels like he has. He remembers how this machine works, but he's never seen it before. We give him the stones and yell to him when we reach a junction. We eventually make it to the other side here and let down a bridge for Veldeman to join us. We find a bunch of dwarves in a cage. We let them out, and one of them asks if we've seen Brunald. He's her husband. Chaos Dwarves took him deeper into this base. They were all kidnapped from their homes in the night. She has no idea why, and they've been taking them away one by one. We tell them to return to Keldagrim, but she begs us to find Brunald. Veldeman insists she goes back and promises to find Hilda? We tell him what he said. He meant to say Brunald. He doesn't know what's happening. He vaguely remembers Hilda, but doesn't know why. Maybe he's forgotten her? We press on and find a mechanism that requires 2 people to open it. He remembers this door. He opened it before, so he must have had someone with him. He remembers they found something important on the other side of this door. We open it, and there's an ogre shaman. They have a captive. It must be Brunald. The shaman curses him and then brainwashes him into thinking he's a chaos dwarf, loyal to Zamorak and the Red Axe. A gnome ushers him into a strange machine and he comes out with something glowing on his head. Veldaban recognizes this. They're turning him into a Chaos Dwarf. He saw them do this to Hilda. We see Colonel Grimson standing with the Red Axe director. As we see the Chaos Dwarf emerge, Veldaban calls out to Hilda, blowing our cover. We run into an office space, but we're trapped. He got his memories back. Veldaban couldn't go missing or people would ask questions, so they made him forget, and they turned Hilda. Grimson says that Hilda was alive last time he saw her as a Chaos Dwarf, and it's likely Veldaban killed her during one of their attacks. We realize that we killed her. She was the one on top of the watchtower. She made the Grand Exchange package. She knew we'd get trapped in here and we'd need the tools to get out. We jammed this printing machine and then shove it out of the way and escape using the minecarts. Veldaban takes us to the consortium. They all agree that we need to stop the Red Axe from getting troops in, so they station the Black Guard in the entrance we found. Veldaban says we need to go on the offensive to stop them for good. The consortium doesn't think it's a big enough threat because nobody important has gone missing. Veldaban understandably gets upset and curses them, and resigns, and vows to take care of this himself, promising to let us know if there's anything we can do to help. Quest complete. 78 strength.
Big recap. This is probably the longest running quest series so far. It all started back in 2002. A plague was running rampant in West Ardorian, and a young biologist named Elena was trying her best to help the victims, but she's gone missing. We found out that she was imprisoned by the mourners who were supposed to be helping people. We broke her out, then helped her smuggle a plague sample into Varrock so her mentor could test it. He confirmed her theory: the plague is a hoax. We told King Lothus of East Ardorian about it. He's fully aware, and believes it's a necessary evil as his brother, King Tyrus of West Ardorian, has drank from the Chalice of Eternity and was corrupted to serve Zamorak, and is plotting to revive the Dark Lord. Tyrus brought his army with him through the Underground Pass, and King Lothus took control of West Ardorian. A year later, in 2003, the king hires us to navigate through the Underground Pass, which has since been taken over by an evil maniac named Iban, the self-proclaimed son of Zamorak. We traveled through, maybe committing a few horrible atrocities and war crimes here and there, and destroy Iban through a dark ritual involving demon ashes, a doll, and a few other terrible things, but reclaim the Well of Voyage at the end. In 2004, Lothus's mages restored the well and we ventured through it, finding the elves. We met up with Lothus's ally, Lord Ioworth, and plotted to kill the evil King Tyrus, and we succeeded in doing so. As we were going to deliver the news to Lothus, we're interrupted by Arianwen, a mysterious elf rebel who tells us we're fighting for the bad guys. He lets us know that Lothus is the evil one and we just killed the good king. We told him we'd try and right our mistake, and in 2005, we infiltrated the Mourners' headquarters and figured out that they're Lord Ioworth's Death Guard. They're elves. We do some work for them, including poisoning the masses to make it seem like the plague is real, and earn their trust, enough for the head mourner to tell us they're in-game. Kill every last citizen of West Ardorian in a single act of genocide, so the Dark Lord of Death is resurrected. Obviously, we needed to stop them, so we worked with Arianwen to seal the Temple of Light so they can't reach the Death Altar and complete their plans. Now, it's 4 years later, in 2009. Quest number 158, Within the Light. We return to Lieta and speak with Arianwen. He's got more work for us. Thorgal, the dwarf who tunneled to the Death Altar, has reported something strange going on with the temple, and we need to investigate it. Arianwen says he's coming with, as it may have something to do with the disappearance of the Elven Elders. He gives us a blank teleport crystal we'll need to bind to the Temple of Light. We head to the Mourner headquarters and kill one of them for an extra outfit, then ask the gnome prisoner for a favor. We confide the truth to him, and he agrees to help create a distraction for Arianwen to teleport in, as long as we break him out of here. We convince the head mourner to let the gnome go. He's too much of a liability. Then, we make our way to the Temple of Light and sing the crystal. The mourners don't care for it, but it worked. Arianwen takes the extra mourner set, and empowers the teleport crystal. We teleport to the temple, and the gnome must have held up his end of the bargain, because we aren't sworn by the Death Guard. We go through the temple, and since we were smart 4 years ago, we go right into the altar area. Oh my, this pillar is really moving! We move the light and enter the Death Altar room. Arianwen and Thorgal have a discussion, and in the meantime, Arianwen asks us to investigate the pillar. Ow. Reminds us of the power crystal. We use the crystal Arianwen gave us and yowza! Arianwen says we need to repeat the process that we used to charge the crystal using the Death Altar, but instead of a crystal, we'll use our body. Thorgal is more than happy to give us a boost. Alright, infusing our living body with the pure energy of the Death Altar. Well, that wasn't so bad. Oh wait, we still need to go touch the crystal that powers the wards of this temple. I'm sure we're fine. Now we head down and touch the pillar.
Where are we? This looks like another room for a light puzzle. A dead slave.
I can't believe I'm going to starve down here. If you found this, I hope you have better luck than me. I was carrying tools for the Death Guard when shadows attacked us. The team outside died while I got pulled into the temple and was teleported to this place. Just about given up trying to understand the trees here. They reflect light. I could rotate them when I first came here, but I just don't have the strength anymore. I hope this helps you. The cores not only reflect, but can be charged. If light enters from behind, it passes through and mixes lights together. As for the receivers, perhaps they have something to do with the color wheel?
Oh yeah, we have the color wheel. We start by carving this tree to look like the others, and now the light passes through it. The puzzle is easy to solve, we just shine the light into the active pillar there. Now we have 2 light beams. This endpoint is green, so it looks like we'll need to shine magenta into it, which is a mixture of red and blue. We mix them like so, then shoot the light into the receiver. Now we have green light and a red receiver, so we need to shoot cyan into it, which is green and blue. Easy enough. Now the last receiver turns on, but it's black. I guess that means we need to shoot white light into it, which is all 3 colors together. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of clicking randomly to try to figure it out, and it turned out to be the right answer. The ladder fell down. We climb it, then hop around these trees and fire this ballista. Not too sure what that has to do with anything, but the door below opens now. A dead elf. He has a report. This book says what happened to the elven elders.
To whom it may concern, we urgently require information. What is the status of the resistance and the threats towards Prifddinas? Many believe the city lost, but the truth is that most of it was reverted to crystal seed form long ago. With the fear of impending attacks from the east and the Dark Lord, many elders sacrificed what power they had to revert the city. This report is carried by a faithful messenger who is stationed watching an ancient route of light between the temple and the Undercity. We have recently noticed this link has been made stronger, as if the temple is active and safe once more. The passage is ancient. It is untraveled in many years, and there is a high risk that it may collapse. But the link's presence is a good sign, worthy of this risk. With all hopes, I wish this message finds your hands. With the link returned, hope has returned also. The time has come to rid ourselves of the remaining threats to our once great city, raise it from the ground once more, and restore it to its former glory. Eiston.
This message is from Eiston, but never reached who it was intended for. We teleport out and meet Arianwen back in Lieta. He says he's going to have the dwarves clear out the cave-in so that we can get through there to Prifddinas. Quest complete. 76 ranged. 3 questlines convert to this point, one of them being the Curse of Arrav, so a quick recap on the other 2. Devious Minds, a quick quest from 2005, had us help a Saradominus monk deliver a surprise to Entrana. The monk turned out to be a highly skilled assassin, killing many monks and stealing an ancient artifact before disappearing with no explanation and no word of since. Then, Desert Treasure, one of RuneScape's most well-known quests also from 2005, had us go around the world in search of the diamonds of Asanadra himself, ancient hero of the Zerosian Empire, and we let him out of the pyramid he was imprisoned in. In return, he taught us how to use powerful ancient magic spells. Like the assassin, we have not heard from him since. One last thing, before all of that, in 2004 we discovered an ancient temple of Zaros beneath the Varrock dig site, marking one of the largest archaeological discoveries of our time. Quest number 159, the temple at Senntisten. We once again speak with our new friend Ali the Wise. He says that the Mahjarrat seem to be split into 2 factions, one for Zaros and the other for Zamorak. We only know for sure of one Zerosian, Asanadra, and maybe Akhthanikos, but the Zamorakian ones are all really aggressive, so we say we don't like the Zamorakian ones. He asks about our opinion on the Zerosian Mahjarrat. We tell him we don't have enough information yet, and he agrees, and thinks they're probably not a major threat. Nobody even remembers Zaros anyway. He mentions he ran into an old contact, Dr. Nabanik, at the Varrock dig site. Ali mentioned us to him, and apparently Nabanik knows of us and asked Ali to send us his way. He has some work for us. He gives us a free dig site pendant. We use it and find Dr. Nabanik outside the exam center. He just comes out and says it. He's Asanadra, the Mahjarrat hero of Zaros, the one we freed from the pyramid. We ask why he's here. He says the one he adores was torn from him and is resting beyond the Veil of Life. Zaros? He wants to be reunited, and the altar here will allow it. We ask what Ellis' part is in this. He says they simply met while he was doing research here and mentioned our name. That doesn't add up. Ali called him an old contact, not a new one. He asked us to help prove to the dig site authority that he's trustworthy. Specifically, he wants a restoration certificate so he could have permission to restore the temple we found all those years ago. All we need to do is convince him that he's got the funds and knowledge to do it right, which definitely is not a lie. We talk with Terry Belando and we convince him to give Asanadra the restoration certificate. We give it to him and he tells us to meet him down there. Oh, he's fast. Wait, are these the people from the bandit camp? They did seem to like Asanadra a lot. While they're building, Asanadra wants us to get him 2 artifacts of ancient power. Sounds familiar. The Barrows brothers guard an ancient icon that absorbs prayer that he wants us to steal. The second is in the north, the Frostenhorn, hidden in a snow-buried fortress. He sent someone there already, but they didn't make it back. He had someone retrieve their belongings, and he gives them to us. A letter and a globe.
As I am ill-prepared for this mission, I must abandon my duties or I shall perish. Despair not, for I have found the enclosed artifact. It will help you enter the fortress, where more of these strange globes can be found. Had I been able to draw them to me just a short distance, I could have succeeded. Oh, to come so close, yet be held back for want of runes. Your humble servant, Jay.
Jay, huh? We ask him for more info on the Barrows mission. He says that the brothers apparently follow Zerosian orders, but I'm not really sure about that. He tells us we need to kill all 6 of them, then loot the chest. We ask him to tell us more about what the 2 artifacts actually do, but he won't until we return to him with them. Suspicious. Also, we've done plenty of full kill Barrows chests, but we've never seen the artifact before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's see what's in the chest. Maybe we finally get the Dragon Menhelm? Nope. But sure enough, the icon we've never seen before is here. Even more suspicious. We head to the Fremennik Hunter area and ride the canoe we made to the place we put Jaw in, but instead of going to the cave, we head east. Oh, that's a steel dragon in there. I don't have anti-fire. I'm sure it's friendly. We place the globe we got on the pedestal, and it shrinks the ice a bit, enough for us to squeeze by. Yeah, they're friendly. We enter the fortress and find a statue depicting General Khazard. We navigate around the snow and ruins until we find an open cellar and head inside. We find another globe and put it on the pedestal near the ice door, which melts it and spawns a water fiend. We kill it, then telegrab the globe from the other side and place it in here, thawing a trapdoor. We find another heat globe and place it here, then grab the globe on the other end of the lower level. It's stuck to a piece of the pedestal. We take it outside and place it on this broken one, then slide it down a hole. We go all the way down the now open path and find another globe. We take it, but there's ice blocking our way now. We find a pipe in the wall and put a globe in it, then whack it. It lands perfectly on the pedestal on the other side and melts the ice. We climb up to the upper level again and find an ice demon. We kill it. It had the Frostenhorn. We return to the dig site. Oh, wow. Asanadra has been hard at work. We give him the 2 relics and ask him what the Frostenhorn even does. He says it magnifies power, like how it was magnifying the cold of the north and freezing areas of the fortress. He says there's still another item that he needs, but his contact is almost back with it now, and he asks us to climb up and meet them. No way, it's the assassin holding our mithril 2-handed bow. He tosses us the relic he stole from Mentrana. We give it to Asanadra, and he's surprised to see the Saradomin symbol carved into it. Anyway, he starts a ritual and attempts to call it to his lord, Zaros. After calling out to him, the energy from the relics go through Asanadra, and from the portal comes out a burst of energy that flows through all of us in the room, and Zaros himself speaks through the portal. He asks Asanadra of the other Mahjarrat. He responds and says Zamorak still holds the turncoats. I suppose the Zamorakian Mahjarrat used to be loyal to Zaros. Zaros secretly gives Asanadra instruction. The communication sends ripples through the plains. The Dark Mage is slapped by the Abyssal Rift, almost destroying the entire universe. A statue of Zamorak is desecrated as well, but they blame it on Saradomin, so it's fine, I'm sure. Quest complete. 58 summoning. In combat level 110. Asanadra also gives us a book detailing the curses of the ancient Mahjarrat. Curses unlocked! We won't really be using them right now though, since none of them are particularly good until we get a much higher prayer level. The next quest is the first one to tie together multiple Firminate quest lines. Glorious Memories, the one we did earlier, the Lunar Isle quests, and Horror from the Deep, which we helped a lighthouse keeper named Josik with his Dagonoth problem. Quest number 160, Blood Runs Deep. We pay a visit to Baba Yaga and see she has a sick man in her bed. We ask who he is. She says he washed up on the shore and asks us to help her find out who he is. She says he seems healthy but isn't able to wake up, and she thinks he's got an illness of the mind. She says we should travel into his dreams. She prepares the ritual and we enter his dream. Wait, this looks familiar. This is the lighthouse. So this must be Silas, Josik's uncle who went missing after researching the Dagonoth. He seems to be writing the very book we found while helping Silas. He's rambling about Dagonoth like he's gone mad. We find a tablet in the bookcase. It says, "When the tide is strongest, good intent will be needed once more." Wait, is this one of the tablets Brunt and Pier were hunting down? Why does Silas have one in his dreams? We head up the stairs and end up in some sort of overlook, watching hundreds of Dagonoth walk by, and Silas near the Dagonoth mother. He's talking with her. They're sentient? Or is this just a crazy dream? Yana clearly means Jatizo, and night is not. Mainland means Releka, and Misk means Miscellanea. They're planning to attack all the Firminate settlements. She's planning to have all the Dagonoth gain her abilities of selective immunity that we had to deal with when we killed her. Baba Yaga says we need to find a way out of here. Ah, here we are. Silas notices us. Baba Yaga tries to get us out, but isn't able to. She says she'll figure it out. Silas panics and says they're coming for us. Wave after wave of Dagonoth attack us. We held them off for 3 minutes. And she fixes the problem. We wake up. The Oneiromancer contact us. She says that Releka is under attack. Baba Yaga says she knows a trick to get us back to Releka quickly. She takes our seal of passage and then teleports us away as we're not allowed here anymore. We arrive in Releka and help turn the tide. Afterwards, Brunt has us board his boat, and we meet up on Queen Sigrid's longship. She tells us that Vargas is missing, just like the Dagonoth mother said. He went to Waterbirth Island. Apparently they were about to get married. She says their ancestors used to raid against the Dagonoth, and she has an heirloom weapon which is particularly effective against them, the Balmung. Brunt replaces our seal of passage. He tells us to find Barder. Before we leave, we talk to our wife-to-be, Astrid. She says we need to get married as soon as possible. We reassure her, and then we head to Waterbirth. We meet Barder outside the cave, and he says he's been hearing voices that sound like an old man. There's a hole he hadn't noticed before, and gives us a rope to check it out. We do, and... Vargas! We tell him we're gonna get him out of here. Barder calls from above that Dagonoth has swarmed the exit, so we'll need to find another way to get out. Vargas tells us that to the south is the mother's lair. So that means this is a different Dagonoth mother than the one we killed. We have to go through the Waterbirth dungeon, all the way to the lighthouse exit, which is past the Dagonoth King's lair, while defending Vargas, who moves at half walking speed. Oh boy. We eventually make it all the way to the end, and Vargas finds that someone's been mining away at the ceiling. As he's climbing in, the cave starts falling on us. Where are we? It's actually very nice. We ask the woman near us where we are. She says we're not supposed to be here yet. This is the Hall of Fallen Warriors. We're dead? She says she'll send us back in just a moment. Asleaf and Niall. Asleaf greets us formally for the first time, and Niall thanks us for ending his curse. The woman sends us back, and we wake up on the Miscellanea longboat. Brunt says we were found underneath the lighthouse. Vargas found another stone tablet. This one says, "All-consuming darkness will rise from the sea, unleashed by good intent." The king and queen express their gratitude for helping bring their kingdoms and themselves together, and ask for us to conduct their wedding ceremony right here on the boat. We have them say their vows and pronounce them husband and wife. Astrid thinks this is the time for us to finally be married. Brunt conducts our ceremony, and we're pronounced partners for life. We prepare for the fight against the Dagonoth mother, and meet Brunt and Releka. We sail with our Firminate brethren and Baba Yaga. She mentions the tablets, and Brunt remembers her. She says in addition to the two we found, a third was with Silas when he washed up on Lunar Isle. It said, "The lost mother is dead, her daughter risen in her place." Ah. And the one the adventuring party found all that time ago was, "And his name will be Larder." Apparently, we're the ones supposed to do something. Baba Yaga thinks it's for us to end this battle, but there's still at least one missing. She thinks we're the good intent that unleashed the darkness, our good intent being killing the Dagonoth mother underneath the lighthouse, paving way for the current one. Baba Yaga thinks we should take this knowledge and use it by capturing the Dagonoth mother to prevent another from taking its place. We enter the hole again, and Brunt spares us a small forward group. Why are Astrid and Brand here? They're hardly warriors. Koshai and Baba Yaga will for sure help, but Koshai stands watch. Well, there goes that. We see two huge Dagonoth sentinels ahead. The Dagonoth kings attack Koshai, and he calls for help. Everyone except for us go to help take on the Dagonoth kings. There they go. I have a bad feeling. We use Balmung to take down the sentinels and press on. Ooh, clue scroll. We run through these winding tunnels past the huge guardians and find her. She says we're going to die! What, no speech? Yeah, she's apparently not too talkative. We take her down just like her predecessor, but we leave her alive and go to block the entrance to keep her trapped. Oh no. Again? Oh, she'll let us go back again. Before we go, I want to see what's in the long hall. Oh, well, okay. Astrid! And Bran too. Baba Yaga, you promised! We escape Waterbirth. Brunt says he found another tablet. Wits and skills will bring the light. Fate does not dictate. We bring the dead to Miscellanea and send them off like the true warriors they were. Quest complete. Holy, 150k 3 times? We could use it on prayer! Oh, need 75. Okay, we're gonna wait on this one, but we'll be back. Welcome to 2010. Quest number 161, Nomad's Requiem. We head into Soul Wars. Zimberfid calls to us and says that Nomad's been acting funny, sneaking off at night and coming back sparkly. While he's talking, Nomad tells Zimberfid to watch Soul Wars. He has matters to attend to, and teleports away. We find a trapdoor in his tent and head into it. Wait, the elite Dark Warriors of Zamorak? Traitor? He's just letting him cut away at him, but he's not taking damage. Holy one shot! Through prayer? He froze the ranger, and now it looks like he's charging up a... Oh my gosh! He just laser beamed that man. Sup? Wait, we're not an assassin. He tells us to turn around and leave. He says he'll kill us if he ever sees us down here again, and then teleports away. Well, we tell Zimberfist what happened, and he says we gotta stop whatever Nomad's up to, because he's evil. We tell him he said he'll kill us. He hits us with the lowest level of peer pressure and guilt. Good enough for me! Time to meddle. There appears to be 2 lines of power coming from different areas, going to a doorway barrier that we can't get through. We follow one of the power lines and find a room with a bunch of ghosts that attack us. Well, now that they're gone, this room clearly looks puzzly. There's a bunch of blocks with pipes on the top of them, leading to this power monolith-looking thing here where the cable is coming from. We climb up a ladder and find more ghosts, and a few more of these blocks, along with a few levers. Oh, I see. The levers turn the blocks in different ways. We have to get them to line up with the channels, I bet. Easy enough. Another ladder, this one seems to be the top. There's a waterfall. Oh, I see. They're needing the blocks to be pushed over the grates. Now there's water down here. Okay, nice. Then what about down below? Ah, it's a slider puzzle. We'd only move these over empty grates. I think the goal is to fill all the northern channels. There's 1, 2, and 3. Nice. It worked. But I feel like we're not done. There we go. We head back to the main room and go in the other doorway. Hey, we got water flowing in here too. But how to flood this device? Ooh, fuel. Inside this device there's elemental creatures. We use the fuel to lure them to the waterfall. One. Two. And 3 times. The barrier's gone. We proceed. Huh. Another 2 energy things going to a barrier. We follow the western cable and see another power machine surrounded by writhing roots. We try to chop at them, but they swipe us away. We run around the area, cutting down singled-out roots easily. A huge roar echoes throughout the temple. Oh, this thing's huge! What the heck? You're not allowed to heal. Oh, come on. Out of roots, are you? Oh, wait. I got it! No! Okay, now it's out of roots for sure. Well, that was something. The machine broke too. We head towards the other room and we find a knight on the ground. He says the master was wise to send us, and he's made preparations. We need to bathe his contraption in waves of flame, then he dies. Only the pious is scrawled out on the floor. We turn on piety and enter. A pond of sludge is in between us and the next machine. We find 5 slabs around the room and place them so that we can hop across. Ah, these are the preparations he was talking about. We cast Fire Wave and the machine is destroyed. Oops, turned off piety too soon, I guess. I have a feeling Nomad's in there and he's not going to be too happy. I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's go. We find him sitting on a massive throne of power. He still thinks we're an assassin working for a master, but we tell him the truth that we're just wondering what's going on. He tells us. The souls from the battleground are funneled into this machine, which goes directly to him. We ask him why he needs this power. He says his former employer didn't like him leaving. He says eventually his employer will come himself after these assassins failed. Wait, hold on. Didn't Lucian have control over the Dark Warriors? We ask him who his master is. He says he's sure we figured it out already. I was right. Time for us to go. Or not. He can't let us leave with knowledge of what he's doing. Bring it on. Hits pretty hard. And he summons these mines, which we have to not step on. Oh right, this attack. We just have to hide behind one of these. Oh. Hey, neat. He simply cast a teleport spell on us. Zimmerfitz thinks it was actually the soul obelisk keeping us alive. Take 2. There we go. Okay, this one's easy. Just hit the one that attacks slower. Here comes the attack he used on the ranger. This is gonna hurt. Alright, this is the enraged phase. No. Oh man, it's so hard to click him when he's doing that. Okay, this time for sure. Get him, Terror Bird! There we go. No minds this time. Doomed the world, huh? We head out and tell Zimberfizz what happened. He says we weren't supposed to kill him. We show him the body and give it a good kick. Zimberfizz takes over the responsibility of running Soul Wars, complete with hat and monocle to look the part. We tell him that we should destroy the obelisk, but Zimberfizz says she can make a lot of money selling it to some magic-y types. We leave and... Oh. Quest complete. 70 Zell? We could spend that on some good stuff here. Let's imbue our Berserker Ring to give it better stats, and the rest on prayer. 72 prayer. Nice. Quest number 162. Rune Mechanics. We go to the mage training arena and go into the basement, which has a bunch of wizards down here. We talk with one of them, Apprentice Clerval, who says he's found a fascination with the Guardians while he was training here. He asks us to talk to the wizards to see if we can figure out how to make one ourselves. The kicker is it's never been done before. The ones currently walking around were just reanimated. We talked to Wizard Dougal. He says he used runes that he crafted himself. 5 body runes to animate the limbs, 5 steam runes to give the body movement, and 5 mind runes to give them thoughts and free will. He gives us everything we need to make our own steam runes. We enter the fire altar and make them, and then show him. He says they're good. We talk to Edvin next door. He says he'll tell us if we solve his teleporting maze puzzle. Well, that was easy. He tells us the Guardians are based on the golems found in User, but these ones are made of rune essence instead of clay, and given free will instead of hard commands. He gives us a special tool he used to resculpt the Guardians. Finally, we find Wizard Shug sleeping upstairs. He tells us rebuilding this arena was Archmage Sedrador's idea. The original one was destroyed in the 5th Age year 47 by the Fremenniks. Archmage Sedrador was determined to rebuild it after an apprentice exploded themselves practicing magic. He says they made the Guardians out of 20 pieces of rune essence and 2 emeralds, which were enchanted using a special workbench in the basement. We follow his directions and enchant the emeralds easily enough. We give everything to Clerval, but he says the table they used to reanimate the Guardians is broken. We fidget with this puzzle for a little while until it wears to life. Clerval wasn't able to carve the Guardian, so he gives us what he has so far, and we finish it. We place the Guardian on the table and... it's alive! Quest complete. We get our own Guardian pet. Quest number 163, the Blood Pact. Quick little tidbit before we start, this is the very first free-to-play quest to be released since Rune Mysteries, 6 years ago. We talk to Xenia, an older woman standing in the Lumbridge Cemetery. She says she needs our help. She says Zamorakian cultists just took a hostage into the catacombs. We enter and overhear the cultists talking about a blood pact. One of them is left behind to guard the entrance. We charge him and he fires an arrow at us. We duck and it hits Xenia. She says she won't be able to fight with us and hands us a dagger. We subdue him and then ask what he's doing here. He says he doesn't know, but Reese used to be an acolyte at the Lumbridge Church and learned something about these catacombs. Caitlin was a wizard of the Wizard's Tower, and she learned something from long ago when the Zamorakians were still there. The two discovered a ritual that could give them power over life and death, and all 3 of them joined in on a blood pact. They kidnapped an apprentice from the tower named Ilona, and they're going to perform a ritual, but this one here doesn't really know what that means. Because of the blood pact, he believes that Reese could curse him if he didn't do exactly what he said. We tell him to leave his bow and get out of here. We press on and are attacked by the wizard. We take her down easily with the bow and make our way to her and ask what's happening here. She calls us an idiot and says this is the tomb of Dragath Nern, a necromancer that lived here decades ago. They were going to uncover his body to learn his necromantic powers. She demands we finish her off, but we let her go as well, taking her staff. We head to the lower level and Reese attacks us. We easily drop him and tell him to leave. He refuses and drinks some sort of potion, killing him instantly, and part of the tomb breaks open. We rescue Ilona and return to the surface. Xenia looks fine, and we point that out. She took the hit so she could have an excuse to sit back and watch, to see how capable we were. She says we're a true hero. Quest complete. Quest number 164, Buyers and Sellers. In Lumbridge, we find a trapdoor near a house and go inside and find two shady characters, one of them giving a speech. He says he's offering to teach people the skills they need to get by and get back against the wealthy. A guild of thieves working against the man. We point out that his guild is just one room. He admits that it's only been open 2 weeks and they need more money to expand. He mentions that there's a golden chalice in Lumbridge Castle Bank that he's already found a buyer for. He says that we just need to steal it from the vault. To prove ourselves, he asks us to pick the pocket of the dummy. We walk up to it and yawn and give Darren the handkerchief from its pocket. He didn't even see us touch it. We leave the guild and meet Chief Thief Robin outside the castle. He says he got intel that the chalice's owner withdrew it from the bank a few days ago and left towards the swamp. The owner is an angry old man. Hey, we know a cranky old man. That must be Father Ernie. Sure enough, there's the chalice. We just need to think of a distraction. I know, let's light a fire right outside his window. I'm sure it won't spread, burn down his shack, and kill him. Fire! Fire! Yoink and yoink. Easy peasy. We give Darren the chalice. Quest complete. They expanded the guild. Now they have 3 mini-quests we need to do to help expand the guild further. The first is From Tiny Acorns. Darren commissioned a very expensive toy dragon from a craftsman in Varrock. It's made of ruby. The catch is, he's not gonna pay for it. We're going to steal it and get Darren's money back. We talk to the craftsman, Urist Lorik. He says it's almost done. It's right there in his stall. It's even able to walk and breathe fire. Oh, this is gonna be too easy. We're gonna need to do something about the guard first. We talk to him, and he mentions that Urist has a talisman very dear to him, and he keeps it in his back pocket. Yoink! Let's just put this right here. Hey guard, the gypsy sign is giving you the stink eye. Urist, is that your thingy on the ground? Nothing to see here. We ask Urist for the toy dragon. What? It's gone? Urist says he'll have to give Darren his money back, which is a massive amount. We turn them both into Darren. Mini quest complete. Next is Lost Her Marbles. Darren mentions Draenei Silverborn, a mage who was fond of fire. She made a solitaire set made of solidified fire. A few days ago, her laboratory was engulfed in a huge explosion. Only her hat was found and various parts of her lab. Darren wants us to find her solitaire set. He says that people around the world have likely found it and just have it around in their pockets. We need to steal them. His buyer wants 32 of the pieces. We'd find 6 in this man's pockets, 6 from the master farmer in Draenor, 6 from this farmer in Seth Grote's house, 6 from hand members, and an easy clue scroll, 6 from Al-Kharid warriors, and finally 2 from Varrock guards. We turn in the fragments and get a various bit of reward, and also some advanced pickpocketing training from Robin. Mini quest complete. The final mini quest, a guild of our own. Darren got word that the guild registry has reopened, and we need to officiate the Thieves Guild. Seems counterintuitive, but Darren thinks it would be good for recruitment. The problem is, the money was all spent on expansion, so now we have none for the guild fees. The plan is to steal from the registry and pay for our fees using their own money. He says we'll need a blackjack and a lockpick, and a disguise. Robin will help with the disguise part. Robin says the disguise isn't so much a disguise, more like a stink potion, made of irrit and onion. He says it'll also need to be enchanted to protect our eyes, but he'll handle that part. We make the vial of stench, and Robin puts his spell on it. We head inside the guild registry of Ardoyan. The stench is working. She can't see us through her tears. How to access the cellar? Let's search her pockets. Ooh, a small key. Cellar access is here, but it's controlled by a mechanism, probably that lever behind her. No way we're gonna get that open with a guard there and her standing right in front of it. Let's get a distraction. Wind this cuckoo clock. While she's in there, let's lure the guard and knock him out. And now to... Oh no, the lever has a keyhole too. Where could the key be? Oops. Well, one more try. Wind the clock, hit the guard, steal his key, and lever. Easy. Well, they locked us in. We break into the jail cell, disarm a nasty trap on the chest, and take the bonds. We sneak out, destroy the vial, and enter the registry again. They don't recognize us. We officiate the guild using their own money. And return to Darren. Mini quest complete. And the Thieves Guild is fully unlocked. 71 thieving. This place is huge! Well, we did it. 14 quests plus 3 mini quests. We rocketed all the way from April of 2009 to May of 2010. Many updates were made to the game, so we're gonna have a bunch to do in the next half episode. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you in Daemonheim.